One-on-one chat with our coach, Minnesota Vikings head coach, KOC, Kevin O'Connell, thanks to the Minnesota Lottery with the Bears on the horizon. Now, we'll discuss Justin Jefferson and the immediacy of moving forward first, but I was thinking, do you ever have a vision? You ever think about maybe you and your father Bill and say Wes and his father Wade? You guys are sitting around down the road. You just want a massive, massive playoff game for the Vikings or something like that, maybe even this year. And you lean back and you're remember 2023?
Yep.
And all those, an unprecedented amount of fumbles lost and balls that can't be caught for whatever the reason and just so on, and losing the photos at the wire that you won in 2022, and it's days gone by. You ever think of that with you and Bill and Wade and Wes?
Well, what I do think about and what I talk to our team about is I do believe true growth comes in moments like this. And I do believe that if we handle things the right way, and I believe our team will, we continue to go back to work. We continue to emphasize trying to not be a repeat offending type of team of some of these things, from ball security to maybe just the pitch and catch execution that we've come to kind of know as the standard around here. Defensively is the same thing. We're going to make some plays on some of these footballs that quarterbacks put up in harm's way, and it hasn't quite consistently happened as much as we would like. But I do believe growth can come from this, and what a story it can be. And I always emphasize this to our team. We hold the pen. We're writing our story, and it's not always going to go the way we want. We're going to have to deal with results that, quite frankly, make you sick and are hard for everybody to deal with in this building. But if we use it the right way to fuel how we move forward, I do believe that will ultimately make this team and this organization a better version of what we are currently, because we're able to overcome and do it together in a way where we just keep on chasing that next performance being our best performance.
And Kevin, speaking of doing it together, specifically with the offensive staff, and maybe I'm being too Pollyanna with this, but you just said opportunity to grow. And with Jefferson and the handful of games or whatever, do you look at it like this is an opportunity for A, B, C, D, E, F, G to really build a different form of confidence, solidify themselves in a different way, and then when 18 comes back, X amount of players and situations are stronger, and he's going to be strong when he gets back?
No question. And I think it's the same thing we just talked about, opportunity for growth on an individual level, leadership from some of our guys like Kirk and Brian O'Neill, Alex Madison, KJ Osborne, TJ Hawkinson, and then some of our young players we're really excited about. I'm going to be 100% honest. I think Jordan Addison is becoming everything that I had hoped when I first turned on the tape of him, watching him at USC and previously at Pittsburgh before that. And there's no reason in the world why he can't carry over the success he's had kind of in that Robin-esque role as Batman, and knowing that he's going to get his number called, he's going to get opportunities. Be confident in what you've done already, but be ready for the moment too when we call on you in big moments, because he's already shown his ability to respond. But how can we all be a little bit better? How can I make sure that every single play call that we put into the game plan, what I'm calling on Sundays, gives our guys the best possible chance to go out there and execute and do the things that we're never going to ask guys to do, things that we don't think that they're capable of, and we happen to be very fortunate to have a lot of capable players on our offensive side.
In listening to your Monday press conference and talk about Jordan playing fast and how it was visually everybody could see, wow, this is unbelievable. And then I watched back the game on Tuesday, and yeah, for sure. I see what you're saying. What under the radar leaps did he take in that game against Kansas City?
Yeah, I thought really the touchdown catch that he had was just a great example of a guy understanding a play's intent and then not thinking, just reacting and going, and his ability to beat that post safety over the top, still staying in bounds across the back of the end zone, showing up right when Kirk reset off of KJ on the quick out cut to the boundary. Really, when we put that play in, you're really thinking it's got a great chance to be Jordan, but if it's not, we're going to have Justin one-on-one to the back pylon the other way. And I credit Kirk for sticking with it and feeling that open grass. So much of the pass game nowadays in the NFL, especially in the red zone, is about voids and vacancies and how fast you can get one of your eligibles in that area, force them to either defend that and take that away, which will then open up another area on the field, or you're just able to be one step ahead, the margin of error, how fast things happen in the red zone. I thought that was a great example of him, playing through a little bit of contact, but still playing fast. I thought there was other great examples of him reaching from the frame of his body, making a catch, staying grounded, getting north and south, critical 4th down conversion, critical 3rd and 9 conversion in the high red. Just big plays where his execution, his detail, and his finish were as good as it gets.
When the ball doesn't come Jordan's way, whether he's open or not, and say there are 0 catches in the Carolina game, but like there are patches of the game where, for whatever the reason, he's not getting any looks. How does he handle that?
He handles it great, and he knows the one thing about him that I don't think we've talked enough about is his football intelligence, just understanding how he fits into things and the looks he's going to be. He could have a game where the same game plan from Carolina shows up down the road and he has 10 for 150, just based upon how we're being defended and how, the volume of plays. And I think ultimately his role on those critical downs, those weighty downs, 3rd down, red zone, his role will continue to just expand because he's showing he can handle a lot of different routes versus a lot of different matchups. He understands how to win in zone and make himself a friendly target for Kirk. And ultimately, the winning in man versus tight man coverage in the NFL is normally the area where a young receiver needs to maybe have slower growth than others just because of how different it can feel at times to college. Jordan Addison has not needed that whatsoever.
Kevin O'Connell, Paul Allen, X's and O's, KFAN, Minnesota Vikings Radio Network, and Vikings.com. Fun is probably the wrong word to use here, but is it fun for you and the offensive gang, the staff, putting together a game plan that does not include Justin, where you head into it, I would imagine, knowing, all right, we're going to have to look for this, this, and this because of the way he gets covered up. But, I mean, is it stimulating while being challenging? Is there any fun part of it?
Well, that'd probably not be the word I would use to know that you're not including 18 on a lot of those drawings up on the board. But what I will say is I believe this is where we've got to show our strengths as coaches and how we game plan and how we're able to put things together for our players, where we want our guys to show back up here Wednesday like they did and get the game plan and say, I get it, I understand it, this is our stuff, this is the Minnesota Vikings, but here's how we're reinventing ourselves in a way to deploy our personnel to maximize each individual player's ability to just go do what they do well and not have to try to do anything other than what they're capable of. And it's schematically how you put that together. What's the rhythm and timing? What are the protections in the play pass game? How's the run game set up? Everything you want to do from a standpoint of the play pass, the movements, the keepers, the screens. And when it all syncs together, you're going to miss not having the playmaking ability of the best receiver in football. There's no way for us and Vikings fans to avoid that feeling, but where we can, help cope with that is our attention to detail and how we build these plays and these packages to maximize each and every op that we're going to get. And then, just like guys did when they stepped in for Justin in the 4th quarter, guys are going to make plays because that's why they're here. And I'm excited to see that.
The mental aspect when it comes to the drops, and let's just say the drops are defensive plays on which they don't close or the fumbles that are lost. How pivotal is it as a leader, and then you have your staff and as conduits conveying information to the players to make sure they're not thinking about it? Seriously, how tricky is that?
You want their thinking to take place in response to the previous opportunity, but then we've got to move forward. And how we move forward, it's not there's urgency. There's a mindset of maybe I'm getting on the jugs for an hour after practice. Maybe I'm grabbing, one of our quarterbacks and having them throw me an extra 15 balls at that same catch point that I had this ball extended from my body on a high throw away from the defender. Maybe defensively, it's just making sure I'm making my breaks and catching that football extended from my body, going up, timing my jump. It's go back to work, detailing up how you improve, not just focusing on what has transpired and allowing that to weigh you down in a way where you can't be the best version of yourself.
This is the time of the year when you're 5 games into it where you read stuff around the league. It's even happened here too, where people start talking about kickers, and then we're up here, kicker hasn't missed.
Yeah.
And outside of the punter when he had that 2 touchback game, and the fake punt.
Yeah.
I mean, special teams has been terrific so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, they have, and not a lot of people are giving us opportunities to return kicks. But Ty Chandler's been, really, really good in that void that we thought we would have with Kane being down. But Ty's been really good in that void. And then, like you said, I think that fake punt, I knew very, very early in the week last week we were going to find a way to get that one off. And we had a full team sell on that. From the fans were right there with us every step of the way, booing us. Booing as we pulled the offense off the field. I thought this is just perfect. So, I continued to react and, pump my fist and look angry. And I told the offense as they were coming out, it looked like I was yelling at those guys. I said, stay right here. We're going right back out.
That was part of the ruse?
That was part of the ruse.
Come on.
And because I know special teams coordinator like Dave Tope, I know he's been around the block. He's probably staring right at me on a 4th and 3, kind of in that territory of the field. Hey, if I even look Matt Daniels' direction, are we going to get a punt safe? Are we going to get, a look where they're ready for that? But how about the execution on that with guys like Johnny Munt, Josh Oliver, Josh Metellus, Patrick Jones, and then clearly Ty Chandler. I just mentioned 4 or 5 of the most dependable Minnesota Vikings that I trust, and how about their execution in a big moment?
And lastly, before we get to the last one on Justin Fields, if we ever forgot, Kevin O'Connell came into the league with Bill Belichick. We were just reminded. Fields has been sacked 75 times the last 20 games. That's unbelievable, but nevertheless. Are he and DJ Moore settling into stride?
Yeah, I think, when they need a play, they're going to DJ Moore. Nothing against, Mooney or, their tight end, Komet. I think they've got some really good skill players. They're a little banged up at the running back position right now. But I've always had a ton of respect for Justin Fields, the quarterback, the playmaker that he can be. We witnessed it last year when he, on a screen pass, we tackled the back and he runs for a 60-plus yard gain. It gets called back because of penalty, but my point is the playmaking is there, and then he is really getting in a groove with DJ Moore, throwing him, open against some tight coverage. And we're going to have to know where DJ is all day on Sunday, and then how all the other players that they do have that they're working in from a complimentary phase. Got to get some pressure, got to try to get home, got to try to get him on the ground. But we need to make it hard on him. And even when you do that, you got to be ready for him to play off schedule, and we've been really hurt by some of those plays either by Mahomes or Herbert, Jalen Hurts. So it's on our tape. We've got to find a way to keep it off our tape on Sunday.
You're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm Paul Allen. Speaking of special teams, the coordinator Matt Daniels is next on X's and O's on the KFAM Minnesota Vikings Radio Network.